Heads up, eyes open. Know what's around you. Lead it safe, lead it smart. That's what leaders do before it hits the numbers. Before somebody pays, you are listening to just a girl talking trash. Safety starts today.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. I am your host, Tomilynn, and you are listening to Just a Girl Talking Trash. Welcome to the safety series. Yes, today we are talking safety. But hold on, stop before you click off because you think I'm going to give you some 20-minute speech about policies, procedures, OSHA terminology, and somebody reading from a safety manual. I promise I am not. We are talking about before it becomes an incident, and that starts with situational awareness. I want you to picture something. You got a big truck backing up. There is equipment moving, a bunch of noises going on. You hear the backup alarm. I can hear it in my brain just thinking of a vehicle or truck backing up, right? Somebody is walking through the area. The driver checked the mirrors. Everything looked fine. And then somebody walks into that blind spot. Now, let me ask you something. Who saw them? Did the driver? Did the supervisor standing 20 feet away? Did another employee see it and think, oh, they'll be fine? Because that right there is what we are talking about today. Situational awareness. And honestly, this may be one of the simplest safety concepts we talk about and one of the easiest ones to get wrong. Because telling somebody to pay attention is not safety training. Be careful, watch what you're doing, keep your head on a swivel, okay? But does that actually mean we're teaching safety? What does that actually say to them? Because I can be looking directly at something and still not understand the risk that is developing in front of me. Situational awareness is not just seeing what is happening, it is seeing what is happening and asking yourself, what could happen next? That second part, that's where the magic is. Because operations change fast. Anybody who works in transportation, solid waste, construction, utilities, manufacturing, you already know. An area can be clear 1 second and completely different 10 seconds later. A truck pulls in, an employee walks behind equipment. A customer goes somewhere they're not supposed to go. A container gets moved. Somebody decides to take a shortcut. The radio starts going off. Your phone is ringing. Now everybody is doing 3 things at once, and suddenly the safe condition you had 30 seconds ago does not exist anymore. That is why I tell people safety is not a snapshot. It is a moving picture. You have to keep watching. You have to stay engaged. You have to keep reassessing what is happening around you. And supervisors, I am talking directly to you today because this is where leadership truly matters. If you're walking your operation and you're looking for it's whether people are working, what are they doing? That is not enough. Anybody can walk around and say, yep, everybody's busy. I want you looking around and asking, yourself, what could hurt somebody right now? Where are my blind spots? Who is working around moving equipment? Who looks distracted? Who looks rushed? Who looks irritated? Who has gotten a little too comfortable? What changed since I walked through here 30 minutes ago? And here is the big one. What are we accepting today because nothing bad has happened yet? Because that is how complacency sneaks in, right? Nothing happened yesterday. Nothing happened last week. Nothing happened the last 50 times we did it. So eventually somebody's going to start believing, well, I guess it's safe. No, maybe you were just lucky. And I know people don't always like to hear that because everybody knows that employee. I've been doing this for 20 years and I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional driver. Okay. And 20 years of experience can make you incredibly good at your job, but 20 years can also make you so comfortable that you stop respecting the hazards. And I never want to experience to become an excuse for complacency. When somebody tells me I could do this job with my eye closed, I'm thinking, please don't. I actually need your eyes open. I need them wide open because the hazard doesn't care how long you've been doing this job. That truck doesn't care. That piece of equipment doesn't care. And yesterday's success does not eliminate today's risk. That one is worth repeating. Yesterday's success does not eliminate today's risk. Just because you got away with something yesterday does not mean it was safe. Something we confuse, nothing happened with, we did it right. Those are not always the same thing. And leaders have to be able to tell the difference. Now, let me flip this around for a second, because situational awareness isn't just something we need from frontline employees. Managers, we need it too. And sometimes we're worse because we are thinking about 15 different things, right? Let's start. And you're going to laugh when you hear it because this is what you're constantly thinking about throughout the day. Staffing, routes, rerouting, tonnage, maintenance, call outs, budget, complaints, overtime. Oh, I have to answer that email. Meetings. Who called out? Who didn't show up? Who needs coaching? Who broke something? Who is mad at who? And meanwhile, we walk right past something unsafe because our mind is somewhere else. And then an incident happens. And suddenly everybody becomes Sherlock Holmes. What happened? Who saw it? Why didn't somebody stop it? How long has this been going on? And then the answers start coming. Well, we noticed it last week. Yeah, that's happened a couple times. We almost had somebody get hit over there before. Wait, what? Then why are we talking about it after somebody got hurt? That is exactly the problem. We have to get better at seeing the warning before we get the consequence. And that means leaders need to be visible. Get out there. Leave your office. Leave the office. It's okay. I promise it will still be there when you get back. You don't need to sit at your desk from the time you walk in until the time you leave. Leave the office. Walk, watch, talk to people, ask questions, and not the fake questions either. You know the ones. Everything good? And the employee says, yep. And we keep walking. No. Something useful. What's the biggest risk in what you're doing right now? My old GM taught me a really good one. After a driver would back into a location or pull forward and have to back out, he would say, look at me, do not look in any of your mirrors, look directly at me. Now name 5 things that you just saw. It's kind of like I Spy. And can they name 5 things, 5 fixed objects right now that they just passed? Ask them, where do you think somebody could get hurt here? Those conversations tell you a lot more than everything good. And when something looks off, stop, ask, engage, because a 2-minute conversation may save you from a 2-hour investigation, a hospital visit, or a phone call somebody never wants to make. Now, this is where I want to connect situational awareness to something we are going to talk about a lot more in the next episode, and that is TRIR. And let me ask you, if I walked up to you today and said, what is your TRIR? Would you know what I was talking about? Some of you absolutely would, 100%. And some of you would look at me like, what? Girl, I don't even know what you just said. That's okay. Because that is exactly why we're talking about it. It is okay not to know. Maybe you've heard the term, but you're not really sure what it is or where it comes from. TRIR stands for Total Recordable Incident Rate. We always want our TRIR to be lower than the year before. And you want to keep it, you want to keep your TRIR low. There's a range, it's a median in that range that you want to be at. You want to be below it. But it's simple. It is a standardized way to look at OSHA recordable injuries and illnesses compared with the number of hours employees worked, right? The calculation uses 200,000 hours as a benchmark. And before anybody starts reaching for their calculator, just relax, stop. We're not doing that. We're not doing math today. I'm going to break the entire thing down in the next episode. Why 200,000? What counts as recordable? What doesn't? How is TRIR calculated? Why do companies care about it? What should supervisors actually know about it? We're going to make it simple, but there's one thing you need to understand right now. TRIR is what we call a lagging indicator, which basically means it is looking backward. Something already happened. Somebody was already injured or became ill. The recordable event already occurred. Then it becomes part of your data. And now we need to look forward. Like, we need to look at what could we have done to prevent this incident from happening, which has now affected our TRIR. And someone eventually is going to be looking at numbers, asking, why did our TRIR go up? But situational awareness, that happens before the number, that happens before the injury, before the OSHA log, before the investigation, before corrective action, And this is why I care so much about this topic. Because I don't want our first indication that we have a safety problem be somebody getting hurt. I don't want to see it on a spreadsheet. I don't want to wait for a monthly report. I don't want to hear our numbers are trending in the wrong direction. Well, were your people doing before the numbers started trending in the wrong direction? What were they doing? Were we seeing near misses? Were people rushing? Was housekeeping getting sloppy? Were employees working around broken or questionable equipment? Were people taking shortcuts? Were supervisors looking the other way because they just want to get the route done? Were we so focused on production that we stopped asking how the work was getting done? Because the signs are usually there. We just have to pay attention to them. And I want to say something else because I think this gets lost when companies talk about safety metrics. A good TRIR does not automatically mean you have a good safety culture. Yes, I want low incident numbers. Of course I do. Who doesn't? But I also want to know, are employees reporting near misses? Do people feel comfortable speaking up? Are supervisors correcting unsafe behavior? Are hazards actually being fixed? Are we having real safety conversations? Are we doing this every day? Are we having real, true safety conversations every day where the frontline team is engaged? Can an employee say, stop, something isn't right, without being made to feel like they're slowing everybody down? Like instead of safety, the route is more important. The metrics are more important. The numbers are more important. Because sometimes a company can go months without a recordable incident and still have a terrible safety culture. Nothing happened does not always mean everything is working. Sometimes it means you haven't gotten caught yet. You're just lucky. And that is not the safety program that I want, because behind every one of those numbers is a person. That is somebody's employee, somebody's coworker, someone's friend, their mom, their dad, a son, a daughter. So when I hear leaders say, we can't afford another recordable incident, I understand exactly what they mean, but I want us to change the way we talk about it. Instead of, we can't afford another recordable incident, how about, we can't afford for one of our people to get hurt today? Instead of, we need to get our TRIR down, ask, what are we exposing our people to and what do we need to change? Because the goal is not to protect the number. The goal is to protect the people. The number should follow the culture, not the other way around. So here's what I want you to do. The next time you walk into your operation, don't just walk through it. Look at it differently. Look at the truck backing up. Look at the employee walking across the yard. Look at the person working beside equipment. Look at the customer who doesn't understand your operation. Look at the experienced employee who has gotten a little too comfortable. Keep an eye on your 10-year employees and ask yourself right now in the moment, what could happen next? That question alone can change the way you lead safety. What could happen next? And what can I do right now to keep it from happening? That is situational awareness. And that is leadership. Safety is not something we turn on during a meeting. It is how we operate during every shift, every route, every load, every backing maneuver, every piece of equipment, every single day. And leaders, don't wait for the incident to teach you the lesson. See it before it becomes one. Because the best investigation you will ever conduct is the one you never needed. And the best incident, it's the one you prevented before anybody even knew how close they came. Thank you for joining me on this episode before it becomes an incident. You are listening to Just a Girl Talking Trash. Again, with your host, Tomilynn. And the next episode, I'm going to be asking, if I said TRIR, would you know what I'm talking about? Yep, that's it. We are going to be breaking down the 200,000 hour benchmark, the actual formula, OSHA recordables, and why every supervisor and manager needs to understand what that number is really telling them. And I promise I am going to make it make sense. So until next time, be safe.